I don't know, 3, 4 years old, I can remember falling asleep to Peaches on Regalia at live concerts.
Yeah.
Stage, you know, on the PA system. He used to have these, maybe you'll remember this, he had his own PA system that was covered in this red, fuzzy material. Anybody remember that? Well, the whole PA system was red and fuzzy, and on the side of the stage there were these giant monitors, and I would go lie down on those things sometimes and have a nice time falling asleep, you know, because it was late, you know, for a 4-year-old to be at a rock concert. Anyway, but I had an interest in music. I just didn't really know what I was going to do with guitar or anything like that. I got a guitar when I was 6 years old, and it was a Fender Music Master, which kind of looks the same as a Mustang or a Duosonic, which they still have. But I didn't really know what to do with it. I plugged it in, and I kind of just was making noise like this all the time, you know, plugged into a pit nose. And I can remember once my uncle borrowed my guitar and he left it sitting next to, there used to be in a room, there was a heater that was along the wall. And he left it where the neck was against that heater, and then I came back, you know, several hours later, and the whole back of the neck had this burn mark down it. He could have set the house on fire, leaving this guitar there, but that guitar ended up having an untimely death. When I heard Van Halen, I butchered that guitar, and I cut it up, and I did all kinds of stuff to it, and it ended up having a Larry Flint for President sticker on it. It's a shame, too, because, you know, it would have been nice to have it still with that burn neck and all that stuff. Anyway, I digress. But the reason I'm holding this guitar is that when I was 12, I started to hear some music that was different than my dad's music. I started to hear stuff on the radio, and what was popular at that time was Van Halen and Ozzy Osbourne with Randy Rhoads playing guitar, and so, you know, I listened to a lot of that stuff, and my dad's music was almost inspirational to me, but I didn't think I could play any of that, so I said, let me start with something else that sounds easier, you know, and it's not like Van Halen is easy, you know, so that was my first mistake, but I'm going to try to tune this up while I talk, because it's in need of that. But anyway, the thing is, when I was really starting to get into listening to Van Halen, the strangest thing happened, you know. When you're a kid, you start listening to music, and you, at least back in the day, before you watched TV or watched music videos, you know, you would listen to music, and you'd make your own mind up about what was going on, you know, you'd have your own audio movie in your head. And so, you know, I was always really curious about how Eddie Van Halen came up with the ideas that he did, and, you know, what must have all this stuff look like, how did he do all this stuff. And so out of nowhere, we get a phone call to the house, and it's some guy saying it's Eddie Van Halen. So at 12 years old, of course, you know, this is like the greatest thing that could ever happen. I was like, this has to be Eddie Van Halen. And my mom said, pick up the other line and just listen and see if you think it's him. How am I supposed to know this? You know? There was no MTV, there were no TV interviews with musicians at that time. It was 1981, 82, somewhere in there. Anyway, I, of course, immediately say, yeah, it's him, you know, because I want it to be him. So my mom puts my dad on the phone, and 15 minutes later, Eddie Van Halen shows up at our house because he lived nearby, miraculously. And, you know, he walks in, he's wearing the Women and Children First jumpsuit. And it's like, you know, it's like a superhero, a real life superhero. It's going on. We have this guy over here, and now we have some. Oh, that one. Anyway, so, the thing was, he shows up, and I instantly made him play all of those things that I was fascinated by. Eruption, Mean Street Intro, you know, Unchained, all these things. I mean, he had to work, you know. I was like, yeah, you play this. It was like having your own toy Eddie Van Halen. I'll make mine Eddie Van Halen play this. So, but it was great. At that time, Steve Vai was in Frank's band, and so Frank called Steve Vai to come over, and you know, there was this impromptu jam session where this guitar was being passed around the room, and it was just really cool to see, you know, Eddie Van Halen play something, then Frank Zappa play something, then Steve Vai play something, and then me, because I was only playing for 6 months, and then it was horrible. But still, it was nice to be invited, you know. I'm not sure what's going on. It's unfortunate. Does this happen at every show here? Anyway,
I don't know.
let's give a little demonstration of what it was like to be in my teenage mind at, you know, at 12 years old, and I was sitting in my room and I was saying, I gotta learn how to play this stuff. You know, I really want to play this Van Halen stuff, this Eruption.
No, especially not
I'll
me.
give it a shot.
What are you talking about?
You know,
I hate Van
the
Halen.
funny thing is, I spent a lot of time learning that stuff, note for note, kind of the same way that I did with Frank's music, you know, because that was just what was interesting to me. So I'll see if I remember it. You guys ready? You guys like some Van Halen?
I don't like Van Halen at all.
All that leaping around, I think I'm gonna pass. Yes, next I suppose was a wicked pisser. Somebody get me a doctor.
Why is that person on stage? Look at that person.